Hey, I'm Lauren Singletary, aka Corndog Hero. This is a peer pressure production, and I am doing my second vlog. Thumbs up. And I want to talk about good news that a whole bunch of fanboys got about 11 days before Christmas last year. December 14th, 2017, Disney announces that they are going to acquire 21st Century Fox after key businesses are spun off for $52.4 billion dollars. That is billion with a B. Now, me and every other fanboy and fangirl who knows what's going on, we are suddenly stoked. We have the X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, Galactus, Silver Surfer, Skrulls, the Shi'ar Empire. We have Doom. Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom, coming to the MCU, one unified universe. And that's pretty sweet. Um, I was always excited for it, and I'll just say this out loud and get it out there. I have a bias. I've been investing in Disney stock for a little bit just because I always felt like they were doing what they do. They do it well. So I just wanted to go ahead and get that out there. So I was all for this, but I did have friends and I had colleagues and everyone who was like, "Oh no, this is terrible. Oh, what about antitrust? Oh, what about competition? We don't want Disney to own everything." Um, and I get that. That makes a lot of sense. This is one time where the mouse was not going around like Pac-Man, just going mom, 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 and eating up the businesses. Um, Fox, the Murdochs, that crew, they were looking to divest themselves of that content portion of their business. They wanted to get out of the game. They were looking for suitors, and Disney was not the only one. Verizon, Comcast, Universal, NBC, that's all one company, by the way. Uh, uh, Verizon, let's see, who was the other one? Sony. Sony was in there. Sony was looking at it. So you had some people who were really courting it and looking for it, but Fox knew Disney had a vested interest because of the Marvel movie rights and because they needed the distribution rights to Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, which was what 21st Century Fox still held on to. Um, but on top of all of that, what Disney ends up getting is a whole bunch of other IPs. I mean, we're talking The Simpsons, Aliens, this reboot of Planet of the Apes. How about James Cameron's Avatar? Uh, what about we'll keep going with some Simpsons esque stuff. Futurama. We'll get into all the Seth MacFarlane stuff. So they're now going to have Family Guy, not the Family Guy, Family Guy, the Cleveland Show, American Dad, I guess, the Orville. I do a whole nother show about that. Um, it's kind of exciting, but it's kind of scary. Um, Let me try to unpack a little bit more of this because again, I understand everyone's talking about antitrust and they're talking about competition, but it wasn't Disney just going in to acquire. It was Fox saying, "Hey, we're getting out of the game." So Fox wanted to sell. They're allowed to sell. People were going to buy. Disney was going to come in with the big bucks, 52.4 billion in a stock deal. Um, the cool thing about this is when this started happening, the CEO, Bob Iger, who was looking, I think, to bow out in 2019, extended his contract an additional 2 years. Bob Iger is a guy who did the IP acquisition strategy that led them to buy Marvel and Lucasfilms. So now he's got a whole bunch more IPs. He's going to stay on an extra 2 years to make sure this all goes through well. And that makes me feel good because he's been the guy who's really brought Disney to the forefront recently and diversified what they do, and to me that's really cool. Now, as far as antitrust, so antitrust is anything that gets a business an unfair competitive advantage, and essentially that kind of measured by like, well, does it get them to monopolistic power, 50% or greater market share, um, and Done a little bit of due diligence and I've looked, and it was breaking down between the big six theaters or big six studios, which used to be the big eight, but they've shrunk. They've been consolidated over time. The big six were Disney, far and away leading. You had Universal, you had Fox, you had Warner Brothers, you have Paramount, and I believe the last one is Sony Columbia. So those were the big six. Well, now the big six are going to be the big five. You still have four other competitors. Admittedly, though, if it's a one for one market share, the Disney Fox acquisition thing is going to leave them with an impressive 35% market share for, I guess, eyes in the theaters. Um, but the cool thing about Disney, the thing you got to give the House of Mouse, their props for, they know how to manage and get the most out of an IP. Um, Amazing things have been going on with Star Wars. I mean, we don't just have the Skywalker saga. We got Rogue One. We're going to get the Solo film. There's tentative talks about an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. I know I've got a number of friends who are looking forward to a potential Boba Fett movie. Ryan Johnson, who I think made a great film, had some questionable characterizations. The Last Jedi. He's getting his own trilogy that does not have anything to do with the Skywalkers. Um, these are all exciting things. This is because Disney understands the value of what Lucas created, what the fandom enjoys, and what they want. And so, to me, this can be a very good thing because there are IPs out there that Fox had that they didn't do enough with. Firefly by Joss Whedon is one of those. Disney's going to own that. Disney and Joss Whedon have a good relationship and have had a good relationship in the past. I mean, he brought them $1 billion Avengers movie. He was one of the writers on Toy Story. If there's anything to be done in the Firefly universe, maybe not with that original cast or that crew or that setup, it could happen, and that's kind of exciting because if there's a market for it, if there's demand, Disney will make it happen. If there are other shows, and there are so many, it's going to be hard to list them off the top of my head. But I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer is now Disney, and maybe she's a type of new Disney princess. Who knows? Um, it's really crazy, but out of this, other interesting things have happened. Um, Disney will acquire Fox's 30% ownership stake in Hulu. And Disney already had a 30% ownership stake. So now they will have a 60% ownership stake in Hulu. Meaning that Hulu gets to be a really major competitor against Netflix, and they were already stepping up their game. Some of their original content is amazing. Handmaid's Tale has won a number of awards and is just plain good. I personally like Future Man. Again, not for the kiddos, not for everyone, but I like it. They've got great deals with Adult Swim, so you get all that content on there. Thank you, Kyle, for telling me about that. Um, this is good because in this instance, we are getting competition. And when you think about Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon, you realize that more studios, more avenues for creatives to explore and try and get their visions and their art out are happening. You're getting original movies on Hulu. You're getting original movies on Amazon. You're getting original movies on Netflix. There are more avenues. You don't have to go through the big five uh, studios. You can do it a different way. Um, so again, this was announced on December 14th. We have about 18 months, according to what Disney's projecting, of our elected representatives doing their due diligence and making sure that this is not going to be antitrust. And one of the things that, for the reasons that this won't be antitrust, is because of the businesses that are being spun off. Disney's not getting everything. Disney isn't going to have ABC and then Fox. Disney is going to have ABC, and then Fox is going to get sold to someone else, and who knows, maybe get rebranded, whatever. They're not going to pick up the Fox sports networks, the big ones. They are somehow getting the small local ones. It's kind of weird, and I don't fully understand it, but I know that they are spinning some of it off. I'm going to make sure that I link the actual press release down in the comments as soon as I figure out how to do that, and you can take a look at it. They are not getting Fox News or Fox Financial or any of those things. So Rupert Murdoch wants to keep doing the news. He wants to keep doing sports. He wants to keep doing the financials and some of the other things that they do. But they are just not movies, not TV. You know, well, we're done with that. Maybe it's too competitive. I mean, this is the golden age of scripted TV and movies and everything, with all the various streaming services and channels and really great content out there. There's not enough time in the day. Thank goodness we get to start watching this stuff on our own schedule. So that's it, right? Disney wants to acquire it. It's going to take about 18 months to get through the review process. So we're talking maybe summer of 2019. That's perfect timing, right? I mean, by the end of summer or by midsummer, we're going to have the second Avengers big movie where everyone comes together. This summer, it's Avengers Infinity War. We don't know what this fourth Avengers movie is going to be called, but there's going to be a need for a new unifying threat, arch villain, big bad, and there's none better than Victor Von Doom. He is perfect for a post-Thanos MCU Phase 4. And we can finally get a Fantastic Four done right. We can get the X-Men done right. I admit the Fox did some good things with some of those movies. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine was amazing. He has said over and over again that yes, this does not change his mind. He is done with that character. He did a strong 18 plus years as that character. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. It's why I go see all your other stuff. Well, that and you're just damn talented. Yeah. So there's definitely some upside if you're a fanboy. There's some upside if you're a stockholder. There's lots of potential. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to want to produce these things. The IPs for Alien, the IPs for these various things are still valuable, and they know their business. They're going to be able to get the most out of it. But to summarize, just to be clear, right? Again, this wasn't Disney coming in and said, oh, we're going to throw money at it and just buy it. Nope. Fox was like, hey, let's sell. And they got the four biggest players to the table because in that, they created competition. They drove that price up to $52.4 billion with a B. It's going to have to go through regulatory stuff at the federal level because it is so big. Let's just face it. If you're cynical, you realize that these are $2 billion corporations with a lot of clout and pull. If you just understand that they're going to do their thing and get it done, and that they hired smart people and said, like, well, if we do this, this, and this, and we're following all the rules, they're going to let this go through. Yeah, that's it. Hey, please like and or subscribe and let me know what you think, and if you want some other videos like this. And it's been great talking to you. This is Lauren Singletary, aka Corn Dog Hero of Peer Pressure Productions, signing out. Bye.